Rooster crowing, coffee flowing, screens are glowing, let's get going. Sex the tone on the bed to coming, my banjo calling, dues into my heart's drumming.
Bitcoin's buzzing, ether humming, wallets fat, them charts be drumming. NFTs could be something or just buzzing. Folks overcoming, wallets fat, coins flip faster than flapjacks on a skillet. Barrel bull, I'ma milk it, knowledge profit, gotta drill it. Good morning, crypto, rise and shine. Green candles, climbing, feeling fine. Knowledge is profit, read the signs. Dollar bills dancing in the sunrise. Charts on my mind like a map to El Dorado. Dipped in the dips, now my pockets hit the lotto. Wallet stacked heavy like a barn full of hay. Huddle through the storm till the skies turn gray. Bull run, stampede, hear the thunder in the distance. Ride it, rope it, profits, persistence. Mining for gold in this blockchain stream. Dreams ain't far-fetched when you're chasing the dream. Wake up, get up, hit refresh. The future's digital, cash is flesh. Stacks on stacks, no time to rest. Knowledge is profit, pass the test. Bitcoin's buzzing, ether humming, wallets fat, them charts be drumming. NFTs could be something or just art folks overcoming. Coins flip faster than flapjacks on a skillet. Bear a bull, I'ma milk it, knowledge profit, gotta drill it. Good morning, crypto, rise and shine. Green candles, climbing, feeling fine. Knowledge is profit, read the signs. Dollar bills dancing in the sunrise. Charts on my mind like a map to El Dorado. Dipped in the dips, now my pockets hit the lotto. Wallet stacked heavy like a barn full of hay. Huddle through the storm till the skies turn gray. Bull run, stampede, hear the thunder in the distance. Ride it, rope it, profits, persistence. Mining for gold in this blockchain stream. Dreams ain't far-fetched when you're chasing the dream. Wake up, get up, hit refresh. The future's digital, cash is flesh. Stacks on stacks, no time to rest. Knowledge is profit, pass the test. Rooster crowing, profit flowing, screens are growing, let's get going. Stacks to the moon while a banjo strumming it. Knowledge drummer, pass the test. Pass the test. Pocket full of dreams, no loose change. Flipping pennies to dollars, my range insane. Cattle grazing wide, land for the fam. Freedom ain't free, gotta buy that land. Stacks on stacks, I'm planting my seed. Freedom's a harvest, it's all that I need. Invest in tomorrow, watch the roots grow deep. Building my empire while the world's asleep. Bought a piece of dirt, turned it into gold. Hustle in my veins, yeah, the story's old. Ain't no Wall Street, this is Main Street grind. Freedom's in the ledger, dollar signs aligned. Greenback stacking, the smell of success. A life without chains, no more distress. Money ain't the goal, it's just the key. Unlocking the door to living free. Hay bale stacked, barns full of grain. Portfolios fat, no financial strain. Farm to the markets, flipping what I sow. Freedom's the harvest, watch the profit flow. Stacks on stacks, I'm planting my seed. Freedom's the harvest, it's all that I need. Invest in tomorrow, watch the roots grow deep. Building my empire while the world's asleep. Hay bales stacked, barns full of grain, portfolios fat, no financial strain. Farm to the markets, flipping what I sow. Freedom's the harvest, watch the profit flow. Stacks on stacks, I'm planting my seed. Freedom's the harvest, it's all that I need. Invest in tomorrow, watch the roots grow deep. Building my empire while the world's asleep.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Hello, there we go. I don't know why my microphone wasn't working that first time around, but thank you for everyone that tuned in today. I appreciate you showing on up. It's another Friday, and we're here to start the day off right. So let's get you prepped for some success today. We've got a lot to talk about. We made a new all-time high on Bitcoin. And I've also got another headline to discuss. Going to be about that tariff news coming from President Trump. So let's dive on in, get you prepped for some success today. And you know I got that stock heat map pulled up like always. We are seeing quite a bit of red in the pre-market this morning so far. Let's take a look, see what we're seeing. Might see a little bit of that heading into the crypto side of things this morning. We do have Bitcoin. We do have Apple sitting up 0.6% and looking to the downside this morning, 0.86%. We've got Nvidia sitting up 0.75% off of its close. Looking to the downside this morning, taking back all of those gains, sitting down 0.75. We got Berkshire Hathaway looking to the downside as well, down 0.13. Looking to the downside this morning as well, 0.42. We've got Amazon looking quite neutral. I think those Prime Day sales have been doing quite well for them. Down 0.13 off of its close, up 0.05 this morning. We've got Eli Lilly sitting up 0.47, looking to the downside this morning, 0.43. We've got ExxonMobil up 0.99%, looking to the downside this morning, taking back half of those gains, down 0.5. We've got Tesla sitting up massively from yesterday, 4.73%. To the downside this morning, 0.42. We've got P&G up 0.62 off of its close, looking to the downside this morning, 0.25. We've got Microsoft sitting down 0.4, continuing on those losses this morning, down 0.44. We've got Google sitting up 0.59, looking to the downside this morning as well, down 0.53. And to wrap it on out, we've got Meta down 0.76 and continuing to the downside this morning, down 0.65. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things because everything's pretty green over there. We made that new all-time high for Bitcoin, and everything else kind of ripped along with it. We do have a little bit of red on that hourly for Bitcoin and Ethereum and a few of those other top 20s as well. But for the most part, everything's maintaining quite nicely. We've got Bitcoin up 6.4%. Ethereum's up 8.1, XRP up 8.2. We've got BNB up 2.8%. We've got Solana up 4.4%. Doge taking a spot in the market cap from Tron, up 10%, while Tron is up 2.1%. We've got Cardano up 15.3%. We've got Hyperliquid up 10.8%. We've got Sweet up 8.6%. Chainlink up 8.2%. And taking a spot in that market cap from Bitcoin Cash. We've got Bitcoin Cash up 1.9%. Stellar Lumens continuing to the upside as well, up 7.7% and up 2.1% on that hourly. We've got Avalanche taking a spot in the market cap from HBAR, up 8.1%. HBAR sitting up 15.7% and taking a spot in that market cap from Leo token. Leo token remaining quite neutral, just down 0.1%, not too unexpected as that exchange token normally sees green when everything else is red and is normally in the red when everything else is green. We've got Shiba Inu holding that number 19 spot, up 7.8%, and TON up 3.2. If we've got any alt requests for the day, go ahead, drop them in the chat for me nice and early. We will get to those as soon as we can. We've got quite a bit to talk about, and a lot of that is going to be price action today. We do have the stock market sitting at 76 and extreme greed. Crypto side of things, no change on the board for that. 71 and some light greed still. I do expect that to change just a little bit as we go into the weekend. I would look for some extreme greed coming our way here soon. We do have quite a bit of liquidity sitting to the bottom side. Not unexpected as we moved quite massively towards the upside. You are seeing a little bit of some liquidity starting to pile up at the top side, but nothing too crazy just yet. We do have this hotspot sitting down here at $111,000. Let's zoom this on out. Take a look at that 3-day here, because that 3-day looking quite similar, but that liquidity is sitting just a little bit lower at that $107, almost $900 mark. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart. Say good morning to everyone in the chat so far. I know we've got several people in here that were early listening to some of that music that I was playing before the show started. We've got 4 people over on X. Good morning to all of you. Let's see who we got in the chat. We've got Alexander G in here bright and early. Good morning to you, Mod Queen. We've got Donato Cabrera in here saying good morning BC. We've got K Diggity in the chat. Good morning to you. Let's see, what was he saying? He said, is this that hip hop? I kind of like that country rap, and I was messing around with AI, and it made me a few country rap songs that I thought were a good start for before the show. I've got a few songs to wind the show down with as well, so let me know what you think of the songs. We will make a few more. That way we have several songs to kind of play before and after the show. Let's see. We've got... That's it for now. Anyone else in the background? Good morning to all of you. Hope you're having a great day. Just as I was winding that down, we got Jesse Gluck. He must have got a little bit of sleep here, so... Hope you're having a great day so far, Jesse. Let's zoom this on in just a little bit, you can kind of see what we were looking at yesterday. We did have a fair value gap we were potentially looking at for a little bit of some bouncing action. We came right down to it, smacked the top side of it, and then got that strong bounce off of it. I was looking to potentially hold up that golden pocket fib extension. We came in a little bit higher than that and then got that nice strong move towards the upside. I was not expecting us to go all the way this high. I did talk about that potential for $112,000 to see some liquidity grabbed, and then maybe up to the top side of that golden pocket at 114,000. We blasted straight through all of that. We're now kind of approaching that platinum pocket here on our fib extension. That's going to be $120,000. We'll kind of have to see if we've got the money flow and the volume to keep us going up that high. We do have several bearish divergences that have kind of stacked up here, waiting to see another one coming on in, as we do have all of this explosive movement towards the upside. Does kind of lead to the potential for another bearish divergence to print, and then it would be kind of nice to watch the price come back down to at least the top side of our golden pocket fib extension at $114,000 and really hold that as some support. If not, we really have that $112,000 and that old all-time high to really retest on price action. Let's get this zoomed on in. Take a look at that 4 hour looking a little bit toppy, but money flow still quite strong here. It is getting a little bit of a rollover, but volumes holding quite steady and continuing to come in. So we'll kind of have to keep our eye on things this Friday, as we are starting to see a little bit of some selling wicks coming on in, but not doing much to damp price right now. So keep your eye on that volume on the short term and see if we can continue to get that money flow coming on in here. We do have that 1 hour looking quite similar, a little bit toppy here, as we are starting to kind of move a little more sideways here into the morning. Kind of waiting to see if we can continue to get that money flow and volume here that'll bleed over into that 4 hour. This is what we were talking about yesterday. Watch that shorter term time frame money flow and volume and see if it bleeds over into this 1 hour, because that would get us our stronger push towards the upside. That's exactly what we got yesterday, and we'll kind of have to see if we can get that continuation of money flow in from the shorter term time frame to bleed over into our higher term time frames, because that 4 hour has the potential to keep running if we have that money flow bleeding over into our higher term time frames. This money flow is extremely strong here on the 1 hour. We are moving a little bit sideways on our prime oscillator after hitting several overbought signals, not getting a reversal signal that has really flashed since this last push up. So we'll kind of have to see if this comes with some more volume, or if we start to falter just a little bit, come back down to our VWAP and then make a decision from there. Let's take a look at the 15-minute and the morning, see what that's bringing our way here, continuing to make those higher lows and the higher highs. We'll kind of have to see if this money flow continues to come in. It is extremely green. Your volume has slowed up quite a bit, but that's not too unexpected, as we do see that kind of slow down a bit as we get into that European trading hours, and then wait for that market to open back up in the United States. We do have your MACD sitting below our indicator line here, printing red candles here on our histogram, and that prime oscillator's got two reversal signals that have flashed a bearish divergence as well, and we're heading back to the downside, but we're doing so with some sideways action here from this high here to the high at 118,800. seeing these lows hold quite steady at 117,500. That's kind of an area to watch to see if we hold as some support. If not, we do have the lows from back here at about 115,500 that we could really tap back up against and see if we can continue back up. If we don't hold that, I would look back down to that 114,200 area. That's where we see the top side of our golden pocket fib extension, and we didn't really get a whole lot of play on that when we moved towards the upside. As you can see, that's a fair value gap there on the 15-minute. Zoom this on out to that hourly. You see a giant fair value gap there as well. Let me get that drawn out for you so you can see that just a little bit better. From the top side to the bottom side candle, we've got a massive fair value gap. We did dip briefly into that before we continued off of a VWAP smack there. So midline of that coming in just above the top side of that golden pocket fib extension. We will kind of have to see if we come back down, retest the top side of that. That's that 115,500 area for the top side of that fair value gap that we'd kind of look at holding if you're unable to, coming back down towards that golden pocket or at least the midline at 114,800 for that. All right. I love the country hip hop. Keep doing your thing, bro. I appreciate that. XXI Gaming. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Let's see. Jesse Gluck saying, I'm currently on the road to work. Reached my destination. Well, I'm glad you got there safe, Jesse. Hope you have a great day, because it's looking like we're going to get a great day of some price action. Let's hop over to those news articles I was looking at. We've got more than a few. That big one going to be about some tariffs. Trump says the U.S. to impose 35% tariffs on Canadian goods. The higher than expected key levy is scheduled to take effect next month. Canadian goods imported into the United States will face a blanket 35% tariff starting next month. President Donald Trump said Thursday in an announcement that he came in the midst of active trade negotiation between the two countries. Canada, one of the largest U.S. trading partners, is the latest in a series of countries that have received a letter from Trump in recent days warning of new tariffs to take effect on August 1st. Futures for the major stock indices fell on the news. The rate announced by the president in a social media post is higher than the expected and marks an increase from 25% he set on Canadian goods in February. The White House official, granted anonymity to discuss the negotiations, said the administration plans to impose tariffs on only goods that do not comply with the 2020 USMCA, though the ultimate details will be up to Trump to decide. Trump suggested in an earlier interview with NBC that he is considering tariffs on only 15 or 20% of all countries that had not reached trade deals with the United States. We'll kind of have to keep our eyes on this one because that's quite a big increase from prior tariff announcements. It is not on all goods, so that whole blanket statement where it would be on everything is not true. We'll kind of have to keep our eye to see if that is going to be on oil, because Canada moves a massive amount of oil for the United States. We also refine a lot of oil for Canada as well. So seeing that kind of pass by would be a good thing to see, especially since that's one of the bigger goods that they move for us. Let's see. This next article we had Bit mining stock more than doubles on a $300 million Solana treasury plan. Bit mining Limited BTCM announced a significant shift in its strategic direction on Thursday, starting that it's planned to incorporate Solana tokens in its treasury. Following the news, Bit mining stock surged 172% in Thursday's pre-market. Solana's price increased 2.2% in the last 24 hours. That is a little bit different now. Solana is up 4.3% now. The announcement marks a major move for the cryptocurrency miner, positioning it to expand beyond Bitcoin-centric operations and into a broader spectrum of blockchain technologies. The firm said it plans to establish a strong presence within Solana's fast and developer-centric blockchain by creating a substantial Sol treasury and investing in key ecosystem components. It said this strategic transition is designed to enhance long-term investor returns and tap into emerging opportunities in decentralized technologies. As part of its revamped roadmap, Bitmining plans to raise between 200 million and 300 million in multiple tranches. The funds will be used to purchase Sol tokens, thereby establishing a sizable treasury base. The company intends to convert its current cryptocurrency assets into Sol and adopt a long-term investment strategy centered on that token. So just another Bitcoin mining company looking to kind of expand outside of Bitcoin. You know, it's kind of hard to compete when you're these smaller mining companies. And we saw one adopt a Ethereum strategy for investing. We're now seeing one adopt a Sol strategy for investing. I know they did say they wanted to run some nodes. That'll kind of give them a little bit of some yield to pay back to investors. All right, let's see if we have any alt requests. I know we definitely got to take a look at ADA for Jesse, so let's get that one on the list there. Any other alt requests anyone would like me to take a look at, go ahead, drop them in the chats there. I did take a look at a few projects yesterday. One of those was BNB. We talked about wanting to hold up $665. We came quite close to touching that. We saw a little bit of resistance at that 673 that we had talked about. Came back down close to that 665 and then got that stronger move back towards the upside. You are seeing these MACDs and prime oscillators getting that nice strong sideways momentum and cooling off here on the shorter term time frame. We'll kind of have to take a look at that hourly, see what we're looking at there, because it does look a little bit toppy here. We're starting to get that sideways momentum there too, but we're gonna have to watch our money flow, because money flow is holding quite steady here, and we're seeing it hold quite steady for volume as well. We do have a bit of a range to the bottom side to kind of tap on if we're unable to maintain this $684 mark, where we see these very, very equal lows. Let me get that fair value gap drawn out for you. See what we'd be looking at for a bit of a touch on a fair value gap. We do have that top side coming in at about 683, so that'd be that area to really hold up there. Midline coming in at $680. So you do have a bit of a range for the top side of that fair value gap. So you're gonna hold price action up if you're unable to really hold that top side of a fair value gap. I would look all the way back down to that 674. We will kind of have to watch that short-term time frame money flow in the morning, see if we can get some continuation off of the top side. You did get that very nice top side action of the fair value gap playing out before you got that last little push towards the upside. Would look at least trying to hold that all over again and then try to get that continuation push higher. We do have let's see, where was that zero line? Would have to zoom that out just a little bit further. Looking like that's the 236. That zero line and the all-time highs for BNB, sitting up close to $800. So we'll kind of have to see if we can find some support in the middle of all of this. Let's take a look at that daily, see some other levels we might look for. Did see that resistance coming in at the top side of those candles, 695. We do have some areas up here about 722. That'd be that next real resistance area if we can get above our current range. So $723 is that next real area to the top side to watch for. All right, we had XRP requested. I see Jesse asking for some degen stuff. Uh, if we got time and there's no other decent alt request, we can definitely take a look at some Libra there, sir. Let's take a look at some XRP. XRP making those strong moves up as well. Not getting up to the 236, but we definitely have the potential to get back up there. We did get that nice little bounce in action off of $2.40. I don't know why I said 200 there. That'd be quite some crazy action for XRP. We got Redman. Good morning, my bro, BC. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great morning so far. It is bright and early here, and I know it's probably about almost 5 a.m. your time. So hope you're having a great morning. We've got a little bit of a resistance area directly to the top side of us for XRP. That's going to be $2.65. That's the wicks from over here. And we did see that being some resistance for now on XRP. We did have this $2.52 mark marked out. That's kind of that bouncing point we saw. We'll kind of have to see if we can hold price action up at that point. Let's get that 4 hour taking a look at. We are looking a little bit toppy here, but money flow still is quite strong. Volume is quite strong here as well. So we'll kind of have to see how price action goes this morning. We don't really have a very well defined fair value gap for XRP to come back down and test. So I would kind of look back at that $2.52 if we can't get above 265. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. 1 hour did have a little bit of a fair value gap at that 252 that we were looking at. Got those nice strong bouncing action right off at 252 and then continued up to 265 here. Let's get a little bit of a shorter term time frame. Wow, that was get a shorter term time frame. Fib pulled up here. We've got that from the highs to the low there, and got that pulled up, looking like that platinum pocket would also be another real area to watch for. That's going to be $2.49. That's sitting right below that 252. So another area to kind of watch for in that zone. We did see that Wiccan action off of that red candle come at that platinum pocket there. So an area to kind of watch for if you can't maintain 252. Let's take a look at the 15-minute and the morning. Getting a little bit of sideways momentum directly under our resistance. We'll kind of have to see if we can tap up against that all over again and get that push back above it. You do have that overbought signal starting to flash here. You're getting that curvature on your prime oscillator and that MACD starting to get some sideways momentum. But that money flow looking quite nice as we're waiting for volume to come back in this morning. Would look for the potential of price holding up around 255 in the morning, if not coming back down to that 252. Let's clear up some of these lower levels there. We did talk about all of that price action down there. We got that nice strong bouncing action at 242. Let's get this one cleaned up as well, so that we can see those stronger levels. We do have a 252 being that strongest level to kind of watch for on the bottom side, we got those very equal lows at 250, 255. That would be a short-term little bouncing area to watch for. Let's get that drawn as the shorter term time frame one. We've got that very strong resistance above us. And if we can get above that, we've got that 236 coming into play before we try to make our way back up to $2.78. Lurkers also got to smash that like button, says Jesse. I appreciate you, Jesse, showing up every single morning. We also got 9 people over on X. I appreciate you guys. Hope you're having a great morning so far. If you guys have any alt requests, go ahead and drop them in the chat for me. I should be able to see those through Streamlabs and be able to take a look at those for you. Let's see. Marcio Alves saying, thank you, sir. Not a problem there. Hope you have a great day. Find those trade opportunities for you on that one. Let's take a look at ADA. That's a fan favorite here. So saw that nice strong bounce in action off of 62 cents. And got that push up above our golden pocket here. We did talk about wanting to hold 62 cents as some support. That's exactly what we got. Let's clean up some of this bottom side price action we were looking at. Let's get that one cleaned up as well. Kind of waiting to see where we come on in for a fair value gap. So let's get that moved up to the 4 hour. You can see all of these candles are extremely green. We do have 76 cents being a little bit of an area to get above for a resistance area. We do have this area that was going to be potential resistance, not doing anything for price action. That was 72 cents. We blasted straight through that, but it might be an area to come back and retest on the short-term time frame. So let me get that drawn out for you so you can kind of see if we do get a little bit of some pullback action and price comes back down, we could see 72 cents be in that area to kind of see some price action get held up at. Let's take a look at this 1 hour, see what we're looking at there, because everything's looking quite nice. We've got that volume still holding quite steady for ADA. We'll really need to see if that money flow starts bleeding over into that 4 hour time frame. That's kind of what we're looking at across the board, seeing if that short-term time frame push that we saw bleeding over into that 1 hour is sustainable for a bleed over into our 4 hour time frame. We talked about that yesterday. We got that nice bleed over into the 1 hour, and if we want to continue this push, it needs to start getting over into that 4 hour time frame. You are seeing that MACD and prime oscillator getting a little bit of sideways momentum here. Prime oscillator sitting in that light red as volume still continuing to increase here. So we'll kind of have to see if that comes with some positive money flow. We're continuing to get a little bit of some upside action for ADA this morning. We'll kind of have to see what this 15-minute might be bringing our way here. We're looking quite sideways here on the prime oscillator all over again. Got a reversal signal that has flashed. Volume just starting to come back in. We'll kind of have to watch that money flow here. MACD maintaining that action above our indicator line here as we're continuing to print some green candles here on the histogram. So prime oscillator just switched from red to green. We'll kind of have to keep our eye on that because I do think it'll switch back and forth here this morning as we are in a little bit of a more low volume area. We do have that 76 cents being that strong resistance to the top side, and this golden pocket being a very strong area to retest if you're unable to maintain 72 cents this morning. So kind of gonna have to watch this money flow and volume for that short-term time frame, see if we can get that bleed over of our hourly into the 4 hour as we try to maintain some of these new key levels on all of these assets. Let's see, to the bulls out there that held over the past year, you've earned this, my friends. Well, I know here at the Piper Academy, we were telling people to buy a lot of that sideways action on Bitcoin. Let's get to scrolled on out to a higher term time frame. You know, we definitely talked about seeing some selling action here. I took some profits around here, that $99,000 mark, and then I started buying back in once we got to the bottom side of our range. Was buying in all the way through here, kind of slowed up some of my buying action, and then started focusing more on stocks as things started to move a little more sideways. I did buy back down here at that 97-ish. We talked about potentially closing that fair value gap that we left completely open. I do think we're going to have to wait for price action to come back down to close that, but I'm sitting on profit on my Bitcoin. Definitely could have bought a lot more, but I'm quite happy. I know a lot of the Piper Academy has been following that Piper DCA plan. If you were, we were buying 3x down here. We were buying 2x through all of these lows here as well. So hoping everyone's doing quite nice on this, seeing that nice little push back up. I did talk about potentially getting up to $132,000. That's that next key area I'm really watching for on Bitcoin. I brought that up a while ago. I do think that comes in as a very strong resistance area for now, as that is that one line on our fib extensions. We'll kind of have to see if we can get a little bit higher than that, see if we can get to that 1618, because that's $168,000. I'm just taking this level by level. I don't make predictions because price predictions get people screwed up. So I'm just taking it level by level. I hope we can get up to that $120,000 mark, which is that platinum pocket on Bitcoin. See if we can turn that into some strong support. Maybe see a little more sideways action there before we make that next little push up to 132. Those are those next key levels I'm really watching for on Bitcoin. We've got Conspiracy Crypto saying, "What's up, fam?" Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day so far. I appreciate you showing on up. We've got Redmond saying BC for the win, and a Dusty Hunt in here this morning. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day so far. Let's see if we can get any other alts here. I'm not seeing any other art requests so far, but definitely have quite a bit of time. I was looking at NVO the other day, talking to someone about it in the Discord. I've been buying NVO. I did have everything that I was buying underneath this golden pocket here. I'm waiting for that stronger push back towards the upside. We did have a little bit of some sideways action coming in here above the platinum pocket. I did some more buying here, waiting to kind of see if we can get that curvature back towards the upside. We've got that MACD ready to kind of break above our zero line and our indicator line here at the same time, and try to get back up to that 50% line and $80. That's going to be our resistance area for NVO, as we're just starting to watch this money flow come in, but that volume's still extremely low. So I do think there's going to be a few more buying opportunities around this golden pocket for NVO before we get that stronger move back up towards our CME gap there. Let's take a look at that 4 hour. See what we're looking at there. Yep, and this is looking just a little bit toppy here on the 4 hour. A reversal signal has flashed. Money flow just coming back and forth from selling to buying as volume maintains extremely low here. So I do think you get a few more buying opportunities. I will definitely be buying this one. This is one of the largest drug manufacturers in the United States. I do think some of this tariff news has been suppressing that price action just a little bit, and once we start getting some clarity, we will see that kind of get that stronger move back towards the upside. I am targeting above the 382 there, seeing some price action come back up to that 103. 103 would be that area. I would start to consider taking some profits on that. We had Pyth requested. Can take a look at that real quick. PYTH. It's been a while since I've taken a look at that one. Let's hop over to that alt tab. I believe it's still in my favorites. Let's scroll it on. There it is. 11 cents. Jeez. Pytha was quite battered down. Let's get this zoomed on out to a weekly. See what we're looking at there. I was looking for Pyth a long time ago to maintain that 22-cent range. It was unable to maintain that. Let's get that one deleted. It's been a while since we've been up to that price action. I do have a $1.14 being a very strong resistance area for us. I got another little resistance area coming in at 41 cents. That's where we got that strong rejection to the downside off of. Looking like we might be making that nice little double bottoming action and getting that move back towards the upside. MACD finally above our indicator line here, still sitting below zero. We do have a nice bullish divergence here on the weekly as we're getting that curvature back up as well. So let's get a fib pulled up from our highs to our lows down there. Might have to do a shorter term time Fibonacci. We've got our short time there. Got that strong rejection off of the 382 off our candle bodies, and that Wiccan action up to that area I was looking for some support at. So let's get this zoomed on in, take a look at that daily term time frame, see what we're looking at there. We did get those nice strong rejections off of the 236. We've got your volume just starting to increase here, and looking a little bit toppy on that prime oscillator, but MACD just starting to break our zero line here. So let me get that level pulled up here for the top side that we'd want to break to continue on to the upside. So short-term time frame, really looking at breaking 13 cents. That's going to be that area to break and get above to try to push back up to the 236. You do have a little bit of an area above that as well where we could potentially see some resistance. Going to be 16.5 cents for that. Those are those two real areas to watch for before we get up to the 236 and 19 cents on Pyth. Let's get this zoomed on in though. Take a look at those shorter term time frames. See what that hourly is bringing our way. We are seeing a little bit of some resistance coming on in here at the highs from back here. We are trying to turn this into some support. Seeing that MACD get a little bit of some rollover here, but price action continuing to make that higher low. We'll kind of have to see if we can hold that up. We do have the wick from back there and that very equal low with that coming in. There we go, 11 cents. This is going to be that area to really hold up in the shorter term time frame to see if we can get that continuation push to 13 cents. If not, dropping on back down probably to the highs from back here would be 10 cents, so 10.72-ish. That's where we also saw all of that resistance before you got that strong push back towards the upside there. So a few areas to kind of watch for the bottom side. If you're unable to maintain 11.5 cents, dropping on back down to 10 cents and about 7. So a few areas for the bottom side on that hourly. Let's see what the 15-minute in the morning are bringing our way here. We're getting a little bit of some rollover here on the MACD and the prime oscillator as well. We've got those bearish divergences that have stacked up here and waiting for those to kind of play out. Might not play out too crazy if we continue to see some money flow coming back in. Volume is extremely low on Pyth, so we'll kind of have to see if we get that rollover back down, really cool those oscillators off, and then get that stronger push back up from 11.5 cents. If we don't maintain that, coming on back down to that 10-cent area. Watch that money flow this morning because could be a little bit volatile as volume is extremely low. and get that money flow coming on in from that hourly and bleed over into that 4 hour, because that 1 hour volume is still extremely nice and money flow still extremely nice, and we're just waiting on that 4 hour to kind of continue things for price action. That's where I'd really kind of watch to see if that hourly bleeds over into that 4 hour. Volume still extremely low this morning. Not too unexpected. We are waiting on that market open. Let's see. We got any alt requests from X? Let me get X pulled up in the background, because I'm not sure if my chat's working on X for streaming. Let me get that pulled up on my profile. There we go. Not seeing any requests over there. So if we do have any requests, go ahead, drop them in the chat for me. I can get to them. I was taking a look at a few other assets yesterday as we got that strong push back up. Gold making its way back up to the 236. That's that area we have watched over and over, and we're trying to get back above it right now. We are seeing that MACD and prime oscillator sitting at a very primed position for a continuation towards the upside here. We're breaking back above our zero line, waiting to break that indicator line. You've got your prime oscillator getting that curvature back towards the upside after your true 7 clipped out. Volume still extremely low here on the daily. Money flow barely in the red here, so we will kind of have to see on our shorter term time frame. Let's get that hourly pulled up if we can get this to start bleeding over into our higher term time frame. Prime oscillator looking a little bit toppy as we have approached that 382 all over again, but it's looking like it's breaking through just a little bit here. I know some of that uncertainty in the market will drive that price action further. We'll kind of have to see if we get any other news on the tariffs today, because we did get some big news coming out of that Canada that we talked about today. We'll kind of have to see if we can make any trade deals with the EU as well. That's a big one that could kind of give things a little bit of a push towards the upside. They are trying to negotiate quite heavily. If we aren't able to really hear some more clarity, we do have very strong resistance right at $3,363. That's going to be an area to kind of watch for gold in the short term, but over the long term, I do think we get back up to $3,400. That's that area above us that we would kind of watch for some resistance. If we can get above the 236 and turn that 3,362 into some support. That has been our resistance area every single time we've broken above that 236. And we see this 236 coming in as resistance here. It was resistance here. It's been resistance throughout all of this as well. So doing some battle all over again with that 236. If you're unable to maintain that, coming on back down to the highs from here, $3,300 and about $20 would be that area to kind of watch for price to get some support at. Let's take a look at a random alt. Since I'm not seeing any alt requests, I see Ace in the chat with the yo. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day. I know you missed that ADA TA, so you might have to go back and take a look at it, because we definitely did some ADA TA. I bet you're extra happy with that price above 72 cents there. We used to invest quite heavily in Injective. We got out quite a while ago. Would have been the highs from way back there. Let me get that scrolled on out. There we go. Those highs from way back there. There we go. That's that $36 mark. Came all the way back down. Now trying to hold these areas of strong support here. Loving the biggest mover of the last 24 hours. Yeah, it was a very strong mover. We didn't talk all the way up at 72 cents, but we did talk about getting above that golden pocket, and that's exactly what happened for ADA. So a nice catch for that one. Let's see with Injective if we can get back above this key area here. That's that $12.54. Kind of hold that as some support and get up to 14.72. We did maintain all of this back as some support here, so let's get that drawn from red back to green and then see if we can get that continuation up. We did get that price holding up at 11.50. That was our resistance for the short term. Got those nice strong bouncing off of 11.18 and then continued to make that move back towards the upside there. We did see this coming in as some resistance back there. Got that strong push up to 14 and 72 before we really came back down. Still unable to really get back above our platinum pocket there. That's going to be my area to kind of watch for some injective. Let's get this moved on in to that 1 hour. 1 hour getting a little bit of some rollover here, but trying to maintain that 12.54 with some sideways price action. We are getting a little bit of rollover on the MACD, but that prime oscillator starting to move sideways as this 1 hour volume is holding up quite nicely. So if we were unable to maintain this 12.54, would kind of look back down here where we saw that quick little bounce action off of, and that's $11 and about 89 cents there. That's also where we see the highs from back here. Let me get that as a shorter term time frame. Let me get that one cleaned up as well, since it's no longer an area that we're kind of watching for there. That's those two areas I would kind of watch for. We've got that short-term time frame at 11.89 that would kind of watch for price to come back down to if we're unable to maintain our current lows. That's coming in at 12.44. Let me get that cleaned up there. Get this short-term on right now pulled up. We've got 12.40 coming in off of that bottom side wick. So those are those two levels to the bottom side to kind of watch for. We do have the potential to get all the way back up to about 14.72. That's an area to keep your eye on there. Let's get that short-term fib drawn up. We've got the high to the low. We're maintaining our 50% line on that fib right there, and we're waiting to get above the golden pocket. So that's that next real area to get above. That's coming in at about $13.03 there. So that's that area to the top side to really get above, to get back up to that 14.72. It is 6:23 and almost time to wind down that show. So I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in, getting those alt requests in there, learning a little bit about what's going on in the morning. I hope you all have an amazing day. I know I'm going to be in the charts all day long. I don't have work. We got almost another inch of rain, so that's why I pushed the start time for the show back just a little bit. I appreciate all you watching on X as well. I hope to see y'all at the next one. I will play a little bit of music to wind the show down as well. I longed the up motion with sniper precision, but I had a hard stop loss at 50% win. It's okay, but damn, that would have been a great trade. It definitely would have been ADA ace, but it sounds like you made some money. And you know, sometimes it's a little better to be safe, especially when price action gets so volatile. You know, a little bit of safety, hedging your money, making sure you take those profits definitely beats riding it up and then watching that thing collapse on you with the same volatility that it got to the upside going back to the downside. So stay safe out there. It's looking like it might be a continued volatile day. I hope everyone wakes up because today's going to be a good day.
Stacking, I'ma build a skyscraper rise. Digits flipping on the screen, Wall Street in disguise. Freedom in my pocket, dividends on the climb. Portfolio popping, every dollar multiplies. Buy low, sell high, that's the battle cry. Green arrows pointing up, touching the sky. Money moves, cash grooves, we investing. Freedom tunes, no change, just progression. Money moves, yeah, we keep it flexing. Freedom's the vibe, we ain't second guessing. Charts looking spicy, candlesticks be lit. Crypto on a rocket, but I'm hedging with wit. Options on the table, risk like roulette spins. Freedom ain't a gamble, it's a mindset win. Buy low, sell high, that's the battle cry. Green arrows pointing up, touching the sky. Money moves, cash grooves, we investing. Freedom tunes, no change, just progression. Money moves, yeah, we keep it flexing. Freedom's the vibe, we ain't second guessing. We ain't second guessing.